that work? Okay. Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you all for being here for our Cystic Fibrosis Foundation Rocky Mountain Chapter annual meeting. My name is Mike Turner. I'm the executive director here at the foundation for our chapter. And we are thrilled to have you all here tonight. So thanks for bearing with us. Rachel from Roaming Buffalo provided the food to help us out. She's the best. So traffic, it's Denver traffic. You can't help it. If you didn't know, Roaming Buffalo is actually one of the restaurants that supports us at our Chef's Challenge. So they come out every year, provide food for the Chef's Challenge. They're amazing. So support them. They're down near Porter Hospital, Downing, that area. So awesome. Thank you, everybody, for being here. So I got a couple slides I'm going to go through, and then just for context for tonight, Dr. Sagal from Children's is going to give us a little overview of what's going on at Children's Hospital. And then Alex Wilson is going to give us an overview of what's going on with the National Jewish Health. So, I'm going to let folks get a little more food. And I'm going to keep going. Okay, so first off, thank you to our amazing supporters from last year and into this year. We are so blessed to have so many donors, teams, corporate supporters helping us out, including all of our national corporate champions, including American Airlines and Cho Construction as our platinum sponsors, and many others who support us nationally. Locally, we have some amazing supporters, including Roller Auction, the Cushman Neal Foundation, Ferguson, Glaucos Charitable Foundation, Berg Electric, CarStar, Walgreens, FCI Constructors, Spectrum Auto, eGauge Systems, McCracken Iron Face, and Down for a Cure. So thank you so much to our amazing 2025 supporters. We would also love to, it's so much fun to like see pictures and then suddenly grandparents get all excited and parents. Yeah, so we do want to introduce our 2026 ambassadors. So I believe Diana is going to come up and tell us a little more about Luna. So welcome, Diana. You got to really speak. Really speak.
Hello. Karaoke, who's up first? I'm Diana, and this is Tyler. We're Luna's parents. Luna is 8. But when we first found out about her cystic fibrosis, it was right after she was born through the newborn screening. And like many other parents, we had no idea what CF was, that it, was in our family lines and what was going to hold for her future. So it was definitely a shock. And, it's gotten better for us over the years with the diagnosis, especially because of the foundation and meeting other parents who have, walked in the same shoes as us. But as far as Luna is concerned, she's an amazing 8-year-old. She's on a lip track right now. She takes her enzymes and she could swallow like 6 pills at a time, which is amazing. She does her treatments with some force, but she does them. But yeah, she's like a typical 8-year-old little girl and chatty Cathy. But yeah, she's doing really well, through the help of the foundation and her doctors and, support of family and our friends. So just make sure that you guys follow, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and look for her throughout this year.
Yeah, and just like Diana said, when we were first kind of presented with CF, we didn't know what to do. And we had ended up talking to some parents that had some older CF kiddos, and they said it becomes your new normal. And it has become our new normal. And our daughter, fights day in and day out. She's a huge, motivation to all of us and our family, and we appreciate everybody else out here. It takes a village. So so proud of Luna, and you know, we thank all of you guys as well. So.
Thank you. And then I'm going to have Ariel come up and tell you about our other ambassador, who actually is somebody who probably many of you already know. Really talk.
So like Mike said, many of you guys know Rema. She has agreed to be our CF adult ambassador this year. Rema has an incredible story, an incredible journey with lung transplants and having to be all over the country to get her treatments and stuff like that. And she's super excited to be our ambassador this year. She's got a lot of fun activities planned, and we're super excited to showcase her and showcase Luna and just have a good year at CF. So she's super excited, and we are excited to showcase them. So, thank you.
There are calendars, schedules in the back of all our events for this year, but we have them up here for you. So we do have our Great Stride season coming up starting in April down in New Mexico in Albuquerque, and then Denver, Colorado Springs, and up in Montana on June 15th. Chef's Challenge, June 18th, Denver CF Climb, July 25th, Steamboat Extreme Hike, September 18th through the 20th, and then the Breath of Life Gala on November 7th. So they're all confirmed. As I say, make sure you grab a calendar off the blue table in the back. I did want to talk a little bit about some new things we're doing this year. Our board members, several of our board members, and our staff, and the Family Advisory Council at Children's Hospital Colorado have really been working in the past year to try to create more social opportunities, engagement opportunities for people just to connect with each other. So Ben Rather, Ben, can you raise your hand over here? Ben has helped us start to organize some watch parties. So he's helping us build a relationship with the DNVR bar. Many of you may know DNVR as a media company. They do a lot of podcasts and videos, content of the Denver sports scene. And they are also partnered with the DNVR bar down on Colfax and York. So we're going to do 2 watch parties coming up. Everybody's invited. As I said, there are more cards back there with more info. But Wednesday, February 25th, an Avalanche watch party. And then Thursday, March 12th, we're doing a Nuggets watch party. So that's a pretty great opportunity to just socialize. You know, come hang out. First drink is on us. There will be food. So please come, free to join. And we'll be sending out more info about that. We also are partnering with an organization called We Hate Exercise. I know some folks who've been at National Jewish know about this. So Sam Munson, Sam Pelican, many of you may know her. She is an adult with CF, and she started this basically online group and coaching for physical activity. Yeah, to boost physical activity in people with chronic illnesses. So Sam has graciously offered her program for free for caregivers and adults with CF. So if you'd like more information, there are cards in the back as well. And you can scan a QR code. You can set up a time to meet a coach and join a athletic cohort. Did I get that close enough?
Debbie and Hannah.
And Hannah and Sam's mom, Debbie, they can answer all the questions you might have.
There's parents of CF patients that starts on Monday. And it's really, you get the amount of exercise, it just helps you to stay with it. But she put a national word out on the CF website, and in like 8 hours, 34 CF patients signed up across the country. So it really seems to be making a favorable difference.
Yeah.
Encouraging CF patients to stay active.
And I know last year she actually worked with the staff at National Jewish to try to get them more active, considering, you know, working long clinic hours is really hard to be able to hit the gym. So finding new ideas and getting motivation to be active is really important. So yeah, make sure you grab a flyer for We Hate Exercise in the back. And then we also have our Breathing Together monthly meetups. that we do in conjunction with the Family Advisory Council. So Amelia Worthy, if you want to raise your hand, a little higher. That is a monthly meetup group. They've been meeting at Colorado and I-25 at the Junction Food Hall. And again, just an opportunity to get together, hang out, talk, connect. There's no agenda. It's just an opportunity for people to get to know each other. So if you need more information about Breathing Together, see Amelia or Molly or Megan, I mean. All right. All right, Dr. Sagal. Sorry, I just saw you eat. I just saw you take a bite. All right, Dr. Scott Sagal, Director of the Children's Hospital CF Clinic.
Yeah, hi guys. Thank you for being here. Scott Sagal. I'm a pediatric pulmonologist and one of the CF providers at Children's Hospital Colorado. Thank you for all that you do to, support certainly our program at Children's and the larger CF community. Just going to speak very quickly about some, clinical outcomes because things that you do, the fundraising that you do really leads to the improvements, the advancements that we're seeing in people with cystic fibrosis. So, all right, so just want to share some data both locally from here in Colorado, but also nationally. Most people with cystic fibrosis, over 90%, consent to be part of the CF Foundation's patient registry. And it's really been one of our most powerful tools to learn about improving outcomes and care patterns that are associated with better outcomes in people with CF. So I'm going to be sharing data from the 2024 patient registry. The 2025 data set, care centers like ours will be closing the database for people seen through 2025 later this month. So this is data from the previous year. And what we'll first start with is lung function. So lungs are one of the primary organs involved in people with cystic fibrosis, and lung function is really a primary indicator of somebody's overall health with cystic fibrosis. And we look at a particular measurement called FEV1, which is basically how much air you breathe out in 1 second. And this tells us a lot about somebody's lung function and their lung health. And we're showing data at least between 2020 and 2024 in different age groups, 10-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and 30-year-olds, where you can see, again, even in a relatively short time frame, an improvement in lung function. In 10-year-olds now, the average lung function in the CF registry is 103% predicted. We have percent predicted based on the larger population without cystic fibrosis. In 18-year-old, the average lung function now is also 103% predicted. And for adults with CF, at 30-year-olds, the average lung function is 85%. People, we consider 80% and above to be normal for many people without cystic fibrosis. So again, people with CF are doing much, much better. Looking at our own data, this is, you can't see this. Sorry, it's too small. But what I will point out in just sort of our own data here in Colorado, among 6 to 12-year-olds, so school-age children, our lung function is a little over 104% predicted. And among our teenagers, our lung function is now close to 107% predicted. Pretty remarkable. These were things that were oftentimes in the 80s when people were really doing well in the 90s, but now to be over 100% predicted is really just remarkable. And you can see there's been a pretty significant increase in lung function starting in around 2020. That was when our very best treatment for CF Trikafta came onto the market, and we were able to prescribe that. That, and along with Alyftrek, is two of the best treatments in people with cystic fibrosis. Another important measurement is their growth. Digestion is also very much impaired in people with cystic fibrosis. And so looking at the nutritional status. Now, the reality is nutrition has actually been improving for several decades with better dosing of enzymes, with higher caloric supplements. But we're now, facing a new problem in people with cystic fibrosis, and that being either overweight or obese and stuff. So just simply looking in the pediatric population between 2004, 2024, we've had an increase from 10% to 21% who are now falling into this overweight or obese categories. So it's sort of a paradigm shift for us to make sure we're eating healthy, starting at younger ages. But again, in some ways, it was a good problem to have. And just looking specifically at Colorado data and data from Children's Hospital of Colorado, our average BMI is 54%. We're represented in this, red bar here. We're actually among the lowest of the CF care centers across the country. You guys may know that Colorado has among the lowest BMI in the United States. So what we're seeing in our CF population does parallel what we see in the general population here in Colorado. We actually think that that's a healthy BMI. We're not aiming for higher BMI, but if we can be at or above 50%, we're happy with that. And sort of the last clinical metric I'll just share quickly is pulmonary exacerbations, respiratory illnesses that require antibiotic therapy. This was something that was very common among people with CF, and is also something that we've seen pretty profound improvements in the last few years. So just simply comparing data from 2019 to 2024 among adults, the number of pulmonary exacerbations or people with CF who have experienced pulmonary exacerbations requiring IV antibiotic therapy, often administered in the hospital, has decreased from 40% to 15%. And among children, it's decreased from 21% to 9%. So again, really, they're not being hospitalized, they're not requiring IV antibiotics. That's a quality of life issue for certain. And so another thing to show improvement. So anyways, that's it. Brief clinical thing. We of note, these CF Foundation reports that for our center are about 150 pages. We get a lot of data. I'm just sort of highlighting some of the key ones for you. Guys, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Alex, we're gonna have Alex Wilson come up and give us a little update on National Jewish Health.
Hello, can you all hear me okay? Okay, I am Alex Wilson. I am a dietitian and diabetes educator by training, and worked in the CF clinic at National Jewish for about 8 years before I transitioned into clinical research. And I now manage the clinical research team at National Jewish. So I'm actually going to be talking a little bit about what we're seeing and talking about with adults who come to the CF clinic, as well as giving a little bit of a research update as well. Oops, all right, I don't have as many numbers I'm going to talk at you about the numbers instead of showing them all to you. I just have this one slide of data here. But I do want to point out that the patient registry that Scott was talking about, every year they put out an annual report, and that is available to the community. So you can always go to cff.org and type in registry in the search, and you can get the highlights. You can also get a little bit the larger document as well. So if you're ever interested in knowing what all of these are year by year, I encourage you to go there. This slide here is just showing the growth of the adult population in CF. So this is 1994 all the way over here, and then we go out to 2024. So in the last 30 years, there is 66.2% of peds and 34% adults. And now that's essentially flip-flopped, where we have 61.6% that are 18 and over, and then we're at the 38.4% for peds. So the adults population is growing. And that's a direct relationship to all of the research that has happened, that you all have helped get the research there. This box here is showing, it's very hard for you to see in the back, but I'm wanting to point out that these 3 shades here is 18 and over. So we have this growth in 18 and over has actually been pretty steady over time. But then as we get to 25 to 29, 40 to 49, and then 50 and over, right now is at 9% of our population of adults with CF over age 50. So what happens when more people move into adulthood? More adults, more adult complications in those situations. So the conversations that are happening in clinic for our clinical team revolve around lung function. Yes, that's always one of the main points of conversation, but a lot of other things are happening. As you're all aware, CF is a multi-organ system disease, so it impacts the lungs, but it also impacts the GI tract, the sinuses, the reproductive organs, mental health as well. And so the conversations are becoming much more broad. They've always been there, but now the GI complications might be why somebody comes into clinic instead of lung function and GI. So some of the medical conditions that we are seeing more of and or talking to people more about to get screened for include cancer screenings. I have a picture here of a colonoscopy. And so people with CF are at higher risk of colon cancer. So we are encouraging people to get their colonoscopies at age 40 and then 30 if they've had a lung transplant. Heart disease, the older we all get, the more at risk we are of heart disease, high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular conditions. So more people are seeing cardiologists and being encouraged to go outside of the CF clinic to see those specialists. Diabetes, CF-related diabetes has actually stayed pretty steady at about 24% of adults with CF-related diabetes, which is good. We'll see what happens as the modulators reduce the risk maybe of CF-related diabetes in peds and see how that all balances out, but that's going to take some time to find out. But with more overweight and obesity increases the risk for type 2 diabetes. So dietitians in clinic are having different types of conversations, rather than pushing high calorie, high salt, we're totally changing our tunes to some of that and definitely encouraging more physical activity, et cetera. And that drops down to that weight management conversation too. Family planning, in 2024, there were 655 pregnancies in the registry. So as you're all aware, pregnancies have increased with the modulators. And then parenthood in all shapes and forms. So not just pregnancies, but men with CF are more likely to become fathers now as well. And so then comes all of the concerns with childcare and managing and juggling life with a family and life with CF, which then kind of bumps up over to my balancing life with CF. Fewer people, or people are feeling better, they're working more, maybe they're going to school, grad school, et cetera. They're coming into clinic a little less often. So we really have to kind of hunt after some people to come to clinic visits. So there's a getting to clinic and then also staying physically active as well. And then self-care, I think mental health is really the one to star on that. There's a lot of stuff that comes along with just being an adult in 2025. And then you add CF on top of that and all of the other things that come with it. And then establishing with primary care. CF clinic is actually not a person's primary care office. So we're really trying to encourage people to establish with those other providers that can help with other types of adult conditions, OBGYNs, et cetera. And then people just advocating for themselves with their insurance companies. There's a lot of insurance concerns that come along with adults that come to clinic, and I understand too with families too. So those are some of the things that I hear clinical teams talking about how life has changed for adults with CF. Switching over to clinical research. So again, the reason we have so many adults is because of all the great advances that we've had in clinical research over the years. And I have 6 points here. And I want to remind everybody about our mission for the CF Foundation is to increase the quality and quantity of life for people with CF, but also to find a cure for people with CF. And we want this for all people with CF. So this all people and getting the modulator types of treatments to the 10% that don't have access to the modulators is a big push in the foundation as well. And these next 5 points are how we're going to meet our mission. So research participation is vital. We need to be making sure that people know about what research is available so they can participate. Community involvement and input is valuable, both on the families and then the people with CF. But then all of you here who know somebody with CF and who are working on the board and working to help fundraise for all the important research. Referrals between clinical care centers are critical. Clinical conversations with your CF provider is very strongly encouraged, and then collaboration all across the board is required to meet our mission for the foundation. So a couple of numbers here about research. In 2025, there were 912 people with CF newly enrolled into a study. So what that means is that some people have been participating in some of our long-term observational studies, or maybe our long-term follow-up studies. Then we had 912 additional people enrolled into our clinical studies. 59 of those people were successfully referred from another site to the site that's participating in the study and carrying it out. And that's really encouraging. We made a big push for referrals from between sites. I know you can't see this here, and I knew you wouldn't be able to, but I decided to put it on here anyway. This pie here is showing the slice of the pie that's going to, and the different types of treatment categories. So there were 5 nucleic acid-based therapies, which are your gene therapy or your mRNA trials that are targeted toward the people who are not eligible or who are not tolerating the modulators. There were 5 protocols that were either put into play or had large protocol amendments in 2025. 2 different CFTR modulators protocols are in the works or being put into play. 2 anti-inflammatory investigational products or protocols, 1 anti-infective. These are new protocols. 2 nutritional and GI, 1 observational, and 1 other, and I can't tell you right off the top of my head what that one is. So this is all meeting these and putting through these protocols and meeting that mission is going to take a lot of creativity. And some of that creativity is working with other medical conditions like non-CF bronchiectasis, or for some of the pancreatic enzyme studies, we're partnering with sponsors that are also going to enroll people who might have other types of pancreatic insufficiency. So we have to get creative and working and collaborating with other groups and other sponsors. So what can you do to help move research forward? For those of you that are parents of kiddos with CF or are adults with CF, you can join the Community Voice. And this is a volunteer group where you can volunteer to provide input to the foundation and to researchers about what you want to see as the major research initiatives that we're moving forward. You can contact somebody or something called the Clinical Trial Navigator. And the Clinical Trial Navigator is one person that you can reach out to who has a very high level understanding, and maybe a little bit deeper than just high level understanding of what clinical trials are available and what centers are participating in those trials, and help you get connected with those clinical studies. And then you can explore clinical trials by going to the I always want to say the Trial Navigator, but to the pipeline to find out what studies are available. And then you can also sign up for clinical trial alerts to be alerted when a trial is starting to enroll for something that you have interest in. And this down here again is just to encourage all of you, those who are not family members of people with CF or adults or people with CF, to just continue to collaborate and come to events like these and support this group to fundraise and get all of this going. I also wanted to mention the Chef's Challenge Champion. So that's another thing that you can do to help move these research trials forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. And Alex and Scott, I'm sure would be, and I saw Dr. Taylor Kauser in the back as well. I'm sure they'd be more than willing to answer any questions you all have about any of the ongoing research or anything happening. But as I'm going to show you here in a little bit, it's pretty exciting. I mean, seeing those graphs go up where they should be going up, going down where they should be going down. It's great. So I am going to, sorry. I also want to mention our other care center. So Billings Clinic up in Billings, Montana, just celebrated their 10th-year as an official CF care center up in Billings. And I think we have some people online watching from Billings. So if you guys can give them a round of applause. So this is Dr. Jerry Leisinger, and he is the clinic director up there. And I believe he was kind of sent there by Dr. Accurso and Dr. Sagal back in the day. He actually trained at Children's Hospital, and they said, hey, we need somebody to go up and lead the Billings Clinic in Montana. And Dr. Leisinger headed up there and has done an amazing job with that community. Patients love him, families love him, and their entire team and staff up there. And they've been doing some really amazing things. 2 years ago, they actually got one of our national awards because their stats have been so good. So yeah, if anybody makes it to Montana for great strides, make sure to say thank you to the team from Billings Clinic. Okay, 5-year strategic plan. I know it's so exciting. It is built around, I'm just gonna talk real quick, don't worry, because there's a lot to it, and there's a lot of information online, but I do have a prize tonight for the person who can tell me the 3 pillars of our strategic plan. And I'll give you a hint. They all start with C, the letter C. Does anybody know what they are? I mean, board members probably have seen this. Dr. Sagal.
Hello.
What are the 3 C's of our strategic plan?
Unity.
That is correct. So, yes. So the CF Foundation embarked 2 years ago now on building a brand new strategic plan. It actually looks a lot like the old strategic plan because things were working really well. We didn't want to move off supporting cure, care, and community. And so just a couple of highlights for everybody. Our vision for cure. Really at this point, it's about finding that genetic cure. Trikafta is working really well, Alyftrek is working really well. Patients, as you saw, are doing better and better. But as we know, that doesn't mean 100% of patients. We still have a lot of people who don't qualify for taking a modulator, who have rare and nonsense mutations, who will never be able to take a modulator. We have people who can't tolerate modulators for whatever reason. And so they're going without right now. And really, the only way to get to a cure for everybody is that genetic cure. The plan is to continue to start in the lungs and work in the lungs out, since that's where we see a lot of adults having the most challenges, trying to fix that genetic cure inside the lungs first, and then hopefully, ultimately, move out to the whole body. We also are still working on research around any issues with CF. So GI issues, infections, CFRD, mental health. The foundation is still putting a lot of time and energy and dollars into supporting our community to find cures for those things and treatments for those. So that was cure. care, which you all just heard from two of our local care centers, Children's and National Jewish, really to work on that innovation of treatment. The CF Foundation is working with care centers across the country to try to figure out what's working really well these days, what can we do better, how can we support you to drive better care for our patients. It's always funny, I think one of the things I hear, especially from National Jewish, one of their biggest challenges is getting people to come to clinic. People are feeling better, they're working longer hours, they're having more time and having bigger families. And so just getting into clinic is a real challenge. And so I know telehealth has become a vital piece of what National Jewish does, Billy's Clinic does, and all of our clinics across the country are doing. We're also trying to, again, drive that personalized care, as Alex was talking about, where it's not just about your lungs and GI now. There's aging, there's diabetes, there's all sorts of things. And so being able to treat each individual to make sure they are living their most healthy life. And then community. This is us. We are community. So really continuing to do all of the things that support people with CF, caregivers, grandparents, aunts, uncles, everybody, brothers, sisters. Couple of things you can see up here: support people navigating life with CF. Our national office is kind of revamping what's called our community partnerships department. So we're going to be hearing a lot more about that this year, about national level programs that are going to be created, changed, altered in order to better support our adult population and those people with CF. Locally, this is a big one for us: achieve bold fundraising goals. We have a pretty big goal nationally to fundraise $100 million. That's the goal. We hit it this past year. The goal is to continue hitting that $100 million+ goal to fund the research and fund the care that we need. Champion community priorities. I'll skip this one, but champion community priorities. Again, this goes back to what I was talking about a little before with, more socializing, more connection, more time spent in front of each other to really allow people to connect and support each other more. That's what we're doing with the DNVR work. We're doing with the Breathing Together groups. Really trying to continue to allow the community to thrive as one. And it's pretty exciting. So the full strategic plan is available online. We'll make sure to send out in the notes the full link to it. It's a pretty cool website. You can actually scroll through, find everything. But again, it really comes down to that cure, care, and community. So if you can remember that, you'll remember what we're doing and why we're doing it. I did want to talk just a little bit about some changes at the CF Foundation that you may have heard about, may not have heard about. I know I talked to the board a little bit about it last week. The past couple months, we have gone through what's called a field advancement initiative. And so the foundation's kind of really trying to figure out how to better streamline and improve our processes, improve our procedures so that we can hit all of those goals. And really in the next 5 years, make some great strides towards achieving that path to a cure, improved care, and improved community and fundraising. So a couple of things you'll see nationally. Like I said, the Community Partnerships Department is going to kind of shift some of the things they're doing. There's going to be some new offerings for our adults with CF. A lot of them, most of them will be virtual because we're not yet seeing a huge shift in our ability to get people with CF in the same room together. So the Community Partnerships Department, you'll be seeing a lot of new things from them, so be on the lookout for that. Many chapters across the country did kind of right size and scale down a little bit so that their staffing does meet their fundraising initiatives and their fundraising goals. Here in Colorado, in our Rocky Mountain chapter, we are a team of 6. We remain a team of 6. We fundraise enough to be a team of 6. And so we're really excited. And there's a lot of chapters who, we're a team of 4, who are now a team of 3, or a team of 8, who are now a team of 6. But again, our fundraising in Colorado and Montana and New Mexico because of you all, we're able to maintain our staffing and are really excited to be able to continue to working together as a team. Because our team of 6 works well. We're very excited. And like I said, we're still able to offer our full slate of events for the year. One big change with our chapter, though, is that we are losing New Mexico. They did a shift nationally to kind of reorient chapters into areas, and our area got shifted, and so New Mexico is now going to go to a different chapter. They don't yet know which chapter, so we're still handling Great Strides this year. But yeah, unfortunately, our New Mexico community, we're going to shift support for them to a different chapter later on this year. So, but other than that, locally, we'll talk about 2 other changes a little later. But locally, our chapter team still maintaining. Carson Michuzak, our individual giving officer, is continuing to work with us at our chapter. If you know you remember Carson from when she was on our team. And yeah, so we're feeling good. Locally, we're feeling good. Last year, we hit about 2.3 million raised, that's a big number. It was our biggest number since COVID. And so we're really excited about, again, graphs that should be going up are going up. Fundraising was up last year, major gifts were up last year, annual fund was up last year, events were up last year, gala was up over $100,000, chefs was up over $80,000. And so we're just thrilled that the community is supporting us at a high level. So thank you. We really cannot thank you enough, because it is so important that our chapter continues to thrive to provide the funds so that we can do all the things in the strategic plan. So thank you. So we're going to shift real quick, and we're going to do some awards now. So we're going to shift from our presenting to our awarding, which is always really exciting. So I think the first award is me. So the first award is our Legacy Award. So typically we give the Legacy Award to those people in our community who have had long-standing support for our chapter. Historically, it's gone to, I think Jim Ray is here, the Boylan family. Oh, there's Jimmy's up front. The Boylan family is here. And so the Legacy Award is a pretty special one because it really does honor those people who've worked for a long time. Red's Bar in Missoula, Montana. Mike Helene and his wife, many years ago, started doing this thing called a Calcutta. And when I started 9 years ago, this was handed to me by Ann Harris, and she said, have fun. And I was like, I've never heard of this. So basically what they do is they get the entire town together in their bar, and they have an auction for the March Madness men's basketball tournament. And they auction off teams to the highest bidders. And then because it is a state-sponsored, it is official, gambling activity, they are required to give 10% of the proceeds to a nonprofit organization. And Mike and his family give that money to us. Since 2012, they have donated over $250,000 from their basketball. It's up over $34,000 a year now, which means that if you're there in the room, there's a $340,000 being bid on basketball teams. So if you win, you win a lot of money. So if you're ever up in Montana in early March, I highly recommend you stop by Red's Bar. So thank you to the team at Red's Bar. Thank you to Mike for all of their amazing support. So that's our legacy award.
Okay, our next award, the recipients could not be here tonight. They were under the weather and didn't want to risk coming into the room. But if you have, it's our in-kind champion award. If you've been to any of our events over the past 15 years, you probably have DeBetty. They're there every year. They stock our bars. They help us keep the cost low on all of that, which is absolutely amazing. And Brittany is our contact with them. She's actually stepped it up the past couple of years. They give us silent auction items. They help us, both save on the money spent for events and help us bring in more through the door. So thank you so much, DeBetty, for everything.
who's next? I think it's me. Oh, yep. It's me. All right, so while we consider all of you volunteers here this evening for supporting the CF Foundation, our Volunteer of the Year award goes to someone that donates their time specifically. They spend a lot of their weekends helping us at our events, making sure everything runs smoothly. So we are very happy to give our 2025 Volunteer of the Year award to Kylie Dean. She has been volunteering with the foundation probably since she was born, I would think. If for those of you that don't know the Cameron and Dean family, a strong passion and dedication to finding a cure for CF has been passed down from generation to generation, starting with Kylie's grandparents, Patty and Bruce Cameron, and then her parents, Matt and Ashley Dean. When Kylie had an afternoon off from classes this past school year, she told her mom she wanted to volunteer, so she would come into the office on a weekly basis to help us with various projects, and I think write a lot of thank you notes, a lot of them. Kylie and her family will help set up early mornings, like I said, at our events, our Great Strides and our gala, but their big event is our climb. So the deans take care of marking the course. Truly, our staff doesn't really know what the course is. We didn't at Mile High, we don't at Coors Field. The deans just did it and we just let them do it. So when Ashley told me that her and Matt were going to be out of town this year, last year, I had a small moment of panic, but she assured me that the girls would be there and they felt like they could handle it. So Kylie and her sister Lily did handle it very well, maybe better than her parents. I don't know, that's a family debate. But no, they were amazing. They were there bright and early, 6 a.m., right when the staff got there, and they were the last ones to load the cars with us. So we are just so grateful for everything that you do, Kylie, and thank you so much for all you do to support the CF Foundation. Congratulations.
Come over here so you're not.
Okay, this next award is another corporate award. This is our corporate champion. So while I talk about them, I'm gonna get that whole center table to come up. All of you, Doug, you too. This is our first year. Everybody at the table, come on, come on. This is our first year working with Berg Electric, the amazing Strickler family, Doug, Amber, Russ. Doug nominated us this year to be a charity partner for them, and they hosted a cornhole tournament, which just sounded fun to be a part of. And we were very happy to be there in any capacity. But then we were so surprised, just the turnout was amazing. The community was amazing. They had a giant, well-run tournament. They had people in there doing the electronic judging from Vegas. It was unbelievable. And in their first year doing it, they raised $18,000 for the chapter, which was unbelievable. So thank you so much for everything. We look forward to seeing you guys come on up.
Excellent. All right, so our next award, unfortunately, he also could not be here tonight, is our Hero of Hope Award. So the Hero of Hope Award is given to somebody in the community with no direct DNA connection to CF. And I will say, over the last 9 years, Nick McAllister is probably the person I hear the most from families and patients and say, do you know Nick at Walgreens? And I would say, yeah, I know Nick. They go, oh, he is the best. So Nick McAllister, many of you maybe have never even seen him. You may have only known him through email or phone calls, but he's a pharmacist with our Walgreens specialty pharmacy, the one down on Colfax next to East High School. And he is the one who ships you your Aliftrek and your Trikafta and your enzymes. And Nick has been an amazing supporter of our chapter for over a decade at this point. He was a finest honoree back in 2018. And then last year, he also served as a Chef's Challenge champion, which was kind of our finest offshoot to support our chef's event. So Nick and the team at Walgreens do amazing things. They also come out every year at Great Strides and staff one of our rest stops. So if you're out walking through Great Strides, Denver Great Strides, Nick is out there on the course handing out water bottles, and just saying hi to the community. And again, Nick McAllister is, I would say, probably like the most loved member of the Walgreens team. And I'm really sad he couldn't be here tonight because he is a joy. So congratulations, Nick. And who's next? All right, we're all going to be surprised together. Oh, Brett's Crew for a Cure. Megan, come on up.
Hello. So this year's Great Strides Partner of the Year is Brett's Crew for a Cure. And they were going to be here tonight, but their kids weren't feeling well. And so Nikki said, I just don't feel comfortable making a babysitter have my kids' germs or bringing that to you. And I said, stop being considerate. That's rude. No, they're incredibly wonderful people. And Brett is a adorable little girl in pre-K who has cystic fibrosis and is just thriving. And her parents do so much to support her and the foundation, including participating in Great Strides. I couldn't fit their entire team on this slide. This is maybe half of them that they bring every year to support Brett. And also they were one of our top 5 fundraising teams at Denver Great Strides this year, breaking $10,000. Nikki goes crazy fundraising. She keeps asking me for advice and I'm like, I think I might need to ask you for advice. And Ben, her husband, Brett's dad, has even gotten his company involved. Also to my Hoosiers out there, he is a former IU quarterback. So yeah, my one Hoosier in the room. But anyway, we're really grateful to the Chapel family and Brett's Crew for a Cure.
Also, I don't think I told you all, we actually are live streaming this. And so we do have people watching at home right now. So for anybody who couldn't make it tonight, we did send them the link. And at last look, we had about 16 people watching online. And it will be saved on YouTube. So if there's anybody you want to share things with, it will be up on our YouTube page once we end it. So our next award is our corporate team of the year. And I'm going to hand it off to Molly.
Thank you. All right, so engaging companies and corporations is always a big goal that we have to hit our lofty goal of $2.5 million. As we all know that CF is a rare disease, and so introducing new folks to our mission is really important. So we are excited to give our 2025 Corporate Team Award to oh no, I was off. eGage System. Woo. eGage started supporting us when they chose the CF Foundation as their charity of choice when they ran the Colfax Marathon several years ago, and has chosen us every year. And it is thanks to Ben Rather, who works there. So thank you, Ben, for championing our cause and getting all of your coworkers involved. After Ben came to our corporate breakfast last year, he decided that Climb and Chefs were the 2 events that his colleagues would probably be pretty interested in. And so the company bought a table for our Chef's Challenge event, allowing their employees to attend with their guests, and they signed up a team to participate in our first annual Climb Corporate Cup Challenge. There will be another one this summer, so get excited. And we are just so grateful to Ben and eGage for your support. Thank you.
All right. Turn it up. So I am going to next give our Gifts for a Cure award. So Gifts for a Cure is an award we give to a family, individual, partner who helps us raise money outside of events and helps support us outside, although actually our honoree this year does events as well. We are thrilled to award our Gifts for a Cure award this year to the Katzman family. And they have a really good reason for not being here. They live in Durango. That's a really far drive. So Catherine Katzman, and this is Catherine, and this is her son Odie. Odie was actually our 2025 ambassador, and so you may have seen lots of content about Odie. He is a really, really wonderful 4-year-old, now 5 now, 5-year-old who loves trains, plays hockey, loves to ski. And Catherine and her family have gotten really involved in the last year and a half, not only through the ambassador program, but also coming to some of our more large-sized events. They drove up and they actually came to Colorado Springs Great Strides. Odie and Catherine talked at the event. They also, Catherine and her other daughter, or her daughter Quinn, actually drove to Albuquerque and were our ambassadors in Albuquerque, helping us out. Catherine is also, her and her family are major donors, and they also have helped connect us with a couple other significant major donors that have made a ton of impact for our chapter and for the CF Foundation. So we are just thrilled to get to work with Catherine and get to work with Odie and their whole family. And I know we're currently in the process of Quinn and her brother trying to figure out if we can get them both at Teen Advocacy Day this year, because they are all in on supporting us. So thank you so much, Katzman family. I believe they're watching online. So Catherine, Odie, everybody, thank you so much. Congratulations. Sure.
Yay.
Oh, it's me again. Okay, now I definitely know this person's watching online because I just got an email saying they were. So our CF Star Award is given to a person with CF who has made an incredible impact on the foundation. And this year's CF Star Award winner is Jack Stoutenberg. Jack is a phenomenal young man. Jack and his brother Jason both have cystic fibrosis, and many, many years, their parents, Mark and Stacy, have supported the foundation through Great Strides fundraising, supported chefs, supported gala, and so they grew up seeing their parents and the support they did. And then last year, Jack decided, as a young man with cystic fibrosis, he wanted to do an Ironman triathlon. And if you don't know what an Ironman actually is, it's 2.4 miles swimming, 112 miles on a bike, and then running a full marathon. And Jack, as far as we can figure out, is the youngest person with CF to complete an Ironman, and one of only 3 that we could actually find. And so that would all be amazing. Except he also raised $44,000 last year. Yeah. He said, I not only want to do this for me, I want to do this for the community. And he put together a YouTube page. He put together an entire website to promote his training, to talk about what he was doing. He showed up with us at 9 News to promote our events, to help spread the word. Because again, what he was doing was kind of unheard of, pretty amazing. And so Jack, again, also decided he wanted to do it as a fundraiser and ended up the #1 fundraiser in the country for the CF Foundation Breathe Team program. Yeah. So unfortunately, Jack moved to Austin, Texas, last month or 2 months ago, and so he couldn't be here tonight. But it was such a pleasure getting to work with Jack last year, see his progress, see the outcomes that he achieved, because he truly set his mind to accomplishing his goals, and he did it. So Jack, congratulations. We're thrilled that you completed the Ironman. We're thrilled for the support. Thank you so much for everything you did. And thank you to your parents for supporting you as well. So congratulations, kids.
Okay, this is our last award, and I have a lot written down, so try not to look at it too much. But our fundraising family of the year for 2025 is the Demas family. And they have been incredible supporters of the CF Foundation for many, many years in honor of John, who's here tonight. And they were longtime champions of our cycle event, I learned this year. John and Jolly did the cycle since I worked here, but I learned that it was kind of the entire family that was on the committee, including Chelsea, and they put lots of hours into making that event a success. So thank you for that. But about 10 years ago, they shifted their focus to support our CF climb, which allowed the entire family to participate together. And since then, Team Shut Up Legs has been one of our top teams year after year. John has always been one of the fastest climbers, earning a medal, I know at least 1 year, but probably more. And he served as our climb ambassador, wanting to inspire the younger kiddos with CF that CF did not have to define them and they could do whatever they wanted. And now it's pretty amazing to see him climbing as a parent. A couple years ago, he climbed with his son Leo in his backpack and the whole family. So Janet, his mom, writes a heartfelt letter to the community every single year, rallying support and donations. Her dedication, especially while navigating our sometimes glitchy and cumbersome websites, is so remarkable and appreciated. Jolly always brings the energy, the laughs, and if you're at our climb this year, you may have even heard his song echoing through the stadium. You guys want to say what it was called?
Don't poop in the pool.
Don't poop in the pool. You might have heard it at Coors Field. And the grandkids were in there too. John's nephew, Jack, has been climbing for the past 3 years and has done the entire climb for the last 3 years since he was just 5 years old. 2 summers ago, when the team turnout was a little small due to some illness, there was still Janet, Allie, Jack, and Ava that proudly showed up to support the team and represent Shut Up Legs. But that small turnout made this 2025 climb's incredible comeback even more meaningful. They brought out a lot more climbers of friends and family, and they raised over $20,000, which I believe was their biggest year yet. So thank you all, the entire Demas family, for your unwavering dedication and support of the foundation. John, thanks for inspiring the next generation of kids with CF. Congratulations.
Lights on. Yeah, now we turn light.
I just want to show up.
Really, good shot.
Oh. Everyone just goes to
Let's go over the word first. Right. You guys still a little more to the right. A little more right, right, but then. Covered up with things. Thanks. Right.
Do you want to do one just as a family?
Yeah.
We'll hop in.
Yeah. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I do want to highlight one more member of their family who's not here, and that's Janet's brother, Jim, who is the true definition of grit, because this poor man has tried to make a donation every year, and every year it never works because our system never works. And so Jim and I spend a lot of time on the phone every year to get his donation credited correctly, shown up on the website. And it really just goes to show how they get their entire family involved. So Jim's in Michigan, I believe in Michigan, and wants to support Janet and make sure that she knows that they're supporting him from afar. So congratulations to the family. Thank you all so much. So before we close out tonight, I do want to recognize two more people. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. So as I alluded to a little earlier, the foundation is going through a lot of changes. And one of those changes is that we unfortunately have had to sunset some positions with the foundation. And so we actually have two members of our community who are not going to be working with the foundation anymore. And so we wanted to make sure that we recognize both of them because they are very meaningful to our chapter. And so Ann Harris began. And Rachel Richter, née Pizarro, unfortunately had their positions eliminated in the last couple of weeks. And so it's really hard to imagine the CF Foundation without these two people on staff. Anne has served the foundation since 2015, where she originally came on as the executive director of the Rocky Mountain chapter, and then moved up and to become a senior director of field management. So she was my boss when I was originally hired, and I could not have asked for a more supportive, kinder, gentler person to lead me through the my journey here at the foundation. So if you don't know Anne, you should meet her tonight. She's pretty special because though she started working at the foundation in 2015, her journey with CF goes back much longer with her family. And so she's been a supporter of the foundation and a supporter of people with CF for a long time. And I just we cannot thank you enough, Anne, for everything you've done for our chapter, for our community, for our patients, for our families. And yeah, we had to make sure to find a couple photos here. So this is Kennedy Jacks, who's now a sophomore at the University of Wisconsin. So we got Kennedy, and then we got Melanie and Jim Colbert here. Anne has touched so many lives here at the foundation, and I know for everybody who couldn't be here tonight, they would say the same. So thank you, Anne. We appreciate everything you've done. And then Rachel Richter was the first person, or I don't even think, did I hire you or no, Anne hired you. And you started right before I started. So Rachel and I began our journey here in Colorado at the same time. Rachel joined our team from the San Diego chapter as a development director and quickly became an extremely beloved member of our team. She ran our climb event for a couple of years, worked on our gala, worked on hike, and basically did everything that we asked her to do. And she did such a good job, she got hired away by the national office. And they took her away from our chapter. And so for the last couple of years, she's been serving as the chapter services director, helping chapters all over the country execute on events when they had people missing, supporting them and doing whatever they could, doing whatever she could to help them out. And so I got a lot of phone calls in the last week about, well, if Rachel can't help us, do you know somebody else who can? Because they just assumed I had another person on our team that could just jump in and do the work that she did. But I said, I'm sorry, it's impossible. Rachel was a one of one. So Rachel, thank you for everything you've committed to our chapter. And thank you for everything you've committed to the foundation. I have learned so much from these two people over the last 9 years. We all have. I know Rachel has served as a mentor for Molly, for Jenny, for our entire team. And we have just been so lucky to have them in Denver and have them here. So I'd love it if you all would please come up. We have some flowers for you. Rachel's the presentation. People who couldn't make it.
And don't leave. Oh. I've been wearing this outfit since 2013.
Picture. So you can leave there.
Okay.
Do you all want to say?
Oh, gosh. Well, yes, first I want to say something. I mean, this community is so incredible. I got teary-eyed when Mike said words, but I have been involved since 1997 when our sweet Shannon was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. And I just looked at a picture of us in our first great strides, and I was a little thinner and I had different color hair, and I was like, oh, that's my natural color hair. I've been coloring it so much for all these years, but this is the most incredible. What the incredible community is, I have loved working here only because I've loved meeting everybody, and people have been so inspiring here. The grandparents, the parents, the individuals with cystic fibrosis, the aunts, the uncles, the neighbors, all of the people that make up this entire incredible community, and all of our medical professionals and board members and people who have no connection whatsoever, but just want to be involved, like this, the gentleman from Walgreens. This is an incredible community. I love the staff. One of our best things was hiring Mike, who loves this community so much, and this incredible team here. It has been a joy to work here, and I have been inspired by. I am so lucky to be here. I actually started in 2012, if you can believe it. And I was so inspired then to get the job to go and work at all the other 16 other chapters across the country. Of course, Colorado is always my favorite. I mean, I just want to say that, but it was just, you all inspired me every day. You motivated us. This is the most incredible, nonprofit. I just talked to my brother our niece Shannon lost her battle at 25, and he said, oh my gosh, I can't believe what's happening just today. He's like, how's it going, lame duck? And I go, I'm still the lame duck. But this organization, he said, we're still committed because it's changing lives. It's truly changing lives. And so what a gift. So when you look around the room at each other, you're the ones changing lives. We're the one, because there's 83 babies being born. It's so incredible to watch. So thank you for all this gift of time. And Rachel is just, look at that little atlas. Do you want to say anything? So I want to say thank you. It's been such a pleasure. And I love sitting with you.
Making Anne stay here. I figured we were gonna talk about Anne, but you're putting me on the spot here and making me cry. But I've been with the organization since 2014. And I'm making Anne stay up here with me because this organization, although I came in with one connection, at my very first job, we did great strides, and I learned what CF was straight out of college. It had never heard of it. We did like I said, we did great strides, and then was lucky enough to get a job in San Diego and be able to, continue that passion in fundraising. And then I talked to Ann Harris because there was this opportunity in Denver, and I thought it was this perfect sort of like moment where it's like, I think this is where I'm supposed to be. And said, get over here. I think you'd be great. But I have to give this organization and Ann credit for helping me get here. This is where I met my husband, and we have 2 daughters now. I've never looked anywhere else, so this is a really challenging time because I'm trying to figure out what's next. But I just want you all to know that, and I already told Mike when we were told, or I was told that I was let go, that like, hey, well, now you have a full-time volunteer. 2 little girls as well, and I wasn't gonna miss tonight. I'm still fully believe in this mission and the foundation, and unfortunately, I'm not gonna be full-time part of it as a staff member, but you have me as a volunteer, you have my family, we're not going anywhere, so you'll still see us at events and things, and who knows, maybe sometime down the road, it'll come full circle and I'll get a chance to come back. But again, many of you that are getting awards tonight, I've worked with you all, and again, just I will continue to as a volunteer. We're not going anywhere. And again, just thank you, Ann. Like, you have helped me move here, build my family, and yeah.
And married a Minnesota boy.
And married a Minnesota boy.
Okay. That is the official end of our meeting portion. Matt Kraus has generously set up drinks at the Lowry Beer Garden, which is just down the road. First one's on us, so I'm going to give him the credit card. So if anybody would like to socialize more, we would love to meet everybody at the Lowry Beer Garden. It's less than a mile away. Parking's there, I believe. You're also welcome to hang out here for a little bit while we get cleaned up. But thank you. Again, thank you to everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you so much for the support.